Hello and welcome to Abandon Hope Session 20. That's a lot of numbers. That's like almost as many numbers as there are sides on dices of various kinds. We are unfortunately not joined today by Aiden because his laptop is kill. And both Wendelorn and Vesper, I mean, they're the characters, I suppose. George and Chris are the humans who control them, and they are joining us through chat because, sometimes technology just doesn't like to work as it's supposed to work. Perhaps next session we'll have sacrificed enough goats beforehand. It's been a little bit since we've joined our heroes. Can anyone tell me through text or voice what happened last time?
We met a roach. He was very blinged out, and he was fancy, and he told us about the goblins in the area and how there are many not goblins hiding among them, and he takes their kidneys as payment for their costumes or something, or magic. He wasn't very specific. He just said he helps them hide as goblins. Scientists or something that study goblins? I don't remember.
Something like that.
And then we were told, oh boy, what was his name? The roach.
I remember.
I'm trying to look through my notes.
I think he was Stocky.
Probably.
Yes.
That sounds right. Stocky. And so the first goblin we saw, we asked if they knew Stocky, and they ran and panicked, so Ivor slaughtered all of them.
As you
because
do.
he assumed they were against them. But Worm has saved a pet goblin.
Yes.
I believe it's the original one
Quote-unquote
that we
pet.
spoke to. And quote-unquote goblin.
Yeah, that also. He does seem to be missing a kidney. At the very last that we just left off, Slash had chased down several goblins, and they were either murdered or fled the area. Wendelorn, I believe, was just kind of sitting back because he had no reason to commit genocide on goblins whatsoever. Ivor was slaughtering them. Vesper froze one in an ice cube, and then one was cornered. That's your pet.
Yes. What happened to the ice cube one?
It got decapitated, right? Something
I
like that.
I think it was frozen, and then it got lit on fire and burned while being frozen or something.
That sounds very right. It sounds very implausible, but it sounds exactly like something that would have happened.
Where is Potato?
That is a profound question.
Yes.
There we go. I had to remember the right key to move a thing that I selected with a box, because you have to
Just shows
do
up.
that. The Potato Orphan waves her little club. So yeah,
Inbreeding or just that's
she's been with you. I don't know what kind of. I guess she greets the goblin. Their little wave like that. I don't know if it showed up for you guys. So Slash joins you. He's covered in goblin blood. He is, of course, no longer wearing a shirt. He realized that clothes were just slowing him down. Armor mostly. I mean, he's still wearing pants, I believe, and I don't think he was ever wearing shoes. He seems very happy with his life.
Why is he happy?
Because it allows him to be faster and stronger.
Oh, that makes sense.
Uh-huh. So he goes down to the water and begins washing his toes. What do you do?
Worm, why are you not killing this goblin?
Why did we kill any goblins?
Well, we made our friend Stocky, and I asked them if they knew Stocky, and they panicked and ran, so I assumed they were enemies because they do not seem to be on Stocky's good side, and I am very loyal to Stocky now because he helped us.
This is Stocky. If anything happened to him, Ivor might kill everybody on the floor and then himself.
I'm just gonna let that logic roll around in his head.
They could have simply spoken with us about Stocky if they were not enemies of Stocky. I do not understand.
I turned to the goblin.
I did try to talk
Are
to
you
them
enemy?
first.
The
Are
goblin
you
may or
an
may
enemy
not
of Stocky?
be suffering some PTSD. Let's give it a real quick roll. You know, that doesn't seem like a very PTSD roll to me. As Wendelorn continues to lean against the column, the goblin is muttering and kind of frothing at the mouth.
I've already paid my dues. I'm not giving any more. This racket has to stop. Someone has to stand against it. Even if I'm the only one left. I will stand for the truth. I will stand for my rights. You can't take anything more but my life.
Okay.
He looks over your shoulder.
I mean, I can definitely arrange that, yes.
Wendelorn says, "What dues?" The goblin turns to him. His eyes are kind of bugging out of his head.
Says, you're not taking the other one. You can't just come and tell me, oh, your disguise, it's only good for 2 weeks. You gotta give me the other one now if you want to go on for another 2 weeks. I don't know if that bastard knows, but we goblins require at least one kidney to live. I'm giving no more. No dues were mentioned for the initial transaction. It was a transaction. I gave, I received. We were done. Now your boss is going around and extracting further fees. And no, even though you have killed all of my brothers, all of my sisters, I will not give in. Take it if you want.
Well,
Give it to him.
I must ask, why did you respond in the way you did when I simply mentioned his name and had no other hostile action?
Except killing all the other goblins.
No, that was after.
He pauses for a moment to consider. Can you roll me persuasion, please?
Nice.
He gets the expression on his face of a goblin who has mildly miscalculated a situation. You are not
all I wanted
his
to
lackeys, then.
Sorry. No, he just said to say that to mention his name to you. I figured that this would be a way to get into your good graces, granting by how much help he has given us so far. I figured that if he has also helped you, then we would get along well, and the fact that you ran made me think that you do not get along well with Stocky.
The big black squiggly thing in the middle of the pool is a pit. The water rushes downwards from the pool into the pit, though you can't tell where the source of the water here is coming from. It seems like it's not terribly deep, yet it seems like there's an endless supply of it. It rushes down into the darkness. The goblin seems, very confused by this.
The last time I saw that bastard, he said that the next time I saw him, he would be taking more than just the kidney. Forgive me if that, if I made a few assumptions. So does that mean you're going to let me go then? As there's no further bad blood between us.
Well, I mean, if you are not going to threaten us in any way, then I see no reason not to kill you. I saw quick action and nobody tried to refute it, so I kept going.
He seems to compare his body mass to that of all of yours. He seems to consider his state of being armed compared to all of yours. He seems to compare his ability to set people on fire after freezing them to all of yours. He says, no, I mean you no more harm.
Then I see no reason to kill you.
I'm glad
So
we agree.
Evor's logic is I was killing people and no one stopped me, so
No. I saw a threat. I started killing them because
In this kind of world, you don't want to give anyone the benefit of the doubt when they could just kill you. And
Especially
then
since death has such
they
a permanent
continued
penalty.
to attack. Yeah, they continued to fight, so he kept fighting. No one like held up their hands and like he dropped the white flag and like started to run, so he figured something was up.
So anyway, I started Eldritch Blasting.
Yes.
As you do. Now, was he restrained in any way? I can't remember.
No, I don't think so. We didn't
I don't believe
tie
so.
him up with
Okay.
anything.
Yeah, I don't remember. If he's not restrained, he's going to get up. He's going to dust himself off. The dust is crusted to him with blood, of course. And he's going to try to saunter away. Would anybody like to stop him?
Where are you going?
Oh, away from here.
Can you give me your word that you will not be bringing more of your friends to come and get us later?
Sure, why not?
Do I believe him?
Can you give me insight, please?
With my negative insight roll.
Everyone can give me
Are there
insight
any
if
of
they
his
want.
friends left?
Slash says, yeah, at least one of them got away. I couldn't get them all. They're slippery.
Which direction did that one go in, Slash?
North.
How did they go north? Oh, into one of the tents, or?
He shrugs. He just says it. He went behind some of the tents. By the time I got there, he was gone. I guess he could have sneaked around. I thought
see.
you would have seen him, though.
I would have thought so as well. Hello, if there is any goblins up here, we would just like to talk with you.
You are met with silence. Ivor and Worm, you both feel like this goblin isn't being incredibly forthright. He did immediately respond with a very flippant, okay, lol, when you asked for his word. And the goblins have frequently run around and tried to ambush people. So you really have no reason, aside from the fact that this guy's probably not actually a goblin, to trust him. As for the rest of you, yeah.
We already know he's lying about being a goblin, so
Yeah.
I see no reason to trust this goblin. He's goblin. I think it is noble of you to try and save life where possible, but I do not think it is safe to leave this one free. We might as well at least tie him up.
The goblin goes
say you?
pale.
Can you please not tie me up? Can you do pretty much anything other than that? There are a lot of things that run around this place that I'd like to be able to run away from. There are spiders that live on the ceiling, and they stab you from the ceiling, and then they drink your blood on the ceiling.
I will remind you that just hours ago you were completely eviscerated and had to come back hours later. By these goblins. He will be sneaky, he will find others, they will ambush us again, and we may lose another of us.
He seems interested in this. Says, hey, are you alchemists? Have you found the secret of eternal life? I've been looking for that all my life. Please, I'll be your slave for the rest of my life if you share this knowledge with me. Allow me access to your learnings. Just allow me to write a paper on it.
Well, you see, you cannot kill what is already dead. So yeah. We could kill you if that's what you want.
Yeah. I don't follow. Would you permit me to join you? It may be safer if I join you and don't go wandering off on my own.
I have a bad feeling about
kidneys
this.
are probably.
Well,
Did we take him back to Hope with us?
well, to be frank, I do not know that I will come out of here at all, and whatever you want to do as a goblin after I am gone is not my business, but I do not want these goblins to get in the way of our task here.
Wendellorn indicates that he is okay with the goblin joining.
I tell him to hand over any weapons he has.
Well,
He holds up
turns
his
back on
hands. I kind of already dropped them because you were going to murder me if I didn't.
if there are any goblins up here, I would advise you to come out now because I'm going to start searching, and if I find anybody who has not spoken up, they will die.
Because if there's any of you, come on out. Seriously, guys, do it.
Nothing happens.
I'd like to open the tent in front of me and just
All
have
right.
a knife ready to throw.
You find nothing.
Or stab if they're in melee.
And if you search the other tents, you will find nothing except for like the detritus of sloppy camping goblins, food bowls, scraps of meat and bone, some strange looking artifacts made out of bone and stone.
You goblin, if you are to join us, we should know your name.
Oh, that's a good idea. I should probably have a name. I had a name once. I gave it up.
Are you okay with us just calling you Goblin then?
Yes, sure, why not? It's more dignified than what they called me.
Well, Goblin, I assume you know this area much better than us. If there were goblins fleeing up this direction, where would they have gone? Is there a door up here or a way out?
Did I reveal this part of the map? Let me just do a quick super reveal. The part that you're in.
I like how they're yelling across a pond.
So you see a wall rising up about 10 feet, and then there are the windows of the room on the other side that overlook this courtyard here. The windows are not broken. They're solid glass.
Okay, so they couldn't have scurried through there.
Because they probably would have gone around, and they probably would be in that room overlooking us, waiting for you to come back on your way out so they could stab you in the kidneys.
Wait, which way would they have gone around?
He points...
Because I was by this entrance over here.
Yeah, that's where they would have gone.
Oh, so they must have snuck down there when I was talking with you earlier then. I see.
Perhaps. I didn't see them.
So they must have gotten past Vendelorn then.
Goblin looks at Wendellorn. He raises his eyebrow and looks back at you.
Yes, that's possible.
Do I believe him
Insight, please.
that is something they could do? Because it seemed fishy. Oh, I guess I believe him.
He seems a little mystified.
He says, I have seen my brothers do some very interesting things. I wouldn't put it past them. Did you know that a goblin can squeeze their body through any hole they can put one of their eyes through?
I did not know that. That is very interesting.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
Wendellorn does not remember seeing any go past now.
I've never tried, I suppose, but I'm sure it's possible.
I see.
Seeing as how I'm a goblin, and goblins can do that.
Well, I'll shout again. If there are any goblins watching over us here, just know that we have your friend. He's coming with us, and if you attack us, he will die. Thank you.
I'm gonna be real honest, I don't see that deterring them very much. Goblins are borderline cannibalistic creatures. Very strange, very frightening.
Then it's in your best interest to tell us all of the places that they could come from on our walks through this place.
I mean, point at a corner and they're probably there. Unless there's a spider there. Or a stalky. Or a lizard
I see.
with a cannon in its mouth. Or another spider.
Well, if there are any If there are any corners that are more goblin-y than others, just let us know.
I'll do my best.
Thank you.
His ears droop.
Well,
Slash
Does this
says, I
pit-
still... Yes.
sorry, what does Slash say?
Slash says, I still think we should just kill him.
That is my opinion as well, but I do not want to do so when so many others of the party are in favor of keeping him alive.
He might have a use.
Is possible, but also is goblin.
You're asking about the pit in the middle of the lake, is that correct?
Yeah, so having walked around the room here a bit, looking through things, it seems like this pit is like the only way forward right now. I guess we haven't looked at this door down here to the bottom left. But yeah, there's water rushing into the pit, right? So I can't really get close to it without being swept in. Or is it not?
It is strangely not a very violent rush. It is shallow.
Okay.
There's not a lot of force behind it. You saw a goblin swim almost across the entire thing previously and didn't get sucked in.
Slish, can you
Yeah.
hold on to this rope while I go peek over the pit, just in case?
He wipes his bloody hands on his pants and then he grabs the rope.
Thank you, Slish.
And I
No
will attempt
problem.
to peer over the edge.
All right. You peer over the edge and you see darkness down below. You see glittering down below. You see points of pale glowing in the water. It's about 100 feet down, looks like.
Glittering and points of glowing.
Yes.
Does that look magical in nature or like natural?
How familiar is Ivor with dark, dank caves?
Probably not very.
Then
So I
he
guess
has
I
every
wouldn't know.
reason to assume that bioluminescent deep cave creatures are magical.
Fair enough.
I am not so good with magical knowledge. My magic has been gifted to me by my god. Vendelorn or Vesper, do either of you want to take a look and see if you can recognize anything down there? I do not really understand what I am seeing.
The bone snake pops out of your scalp, Mr. Ivor. He
Did
says
Windhorn have it?
he did previously have it.
Okay,
It seems
I guess
to be-
it hid in my scalp now.
Yeah, it's a
Sweet.
jump between Wendelorn and Vesper so far. I guess it's your turn.
Okay.
So Vesper and Wendelorn approach. Vesper peers down. Vesper, can you please give me perception? And George also. Or rather, Wendelorn. Vesper, you see the same thing that Ivor did. If you are familiar with caves and caverns, maybe you might recognize bioluminescence. Otherwise, you might consider it magical. It's no specific kind of spell that you recognize. And Wendelorn, as you approach, you see there's kind of a shimmering magical ring around the portion of the pond where the water is cascading down. It pulses with some kind of a magic that you can't directly identify. It may or may not be creating water on both sides of the ring, filling the pond as it sends water down below. You see this, of course, just with your magic eye. It has no physical substance to it. You can poke your toe through it. The bone snake does pop out, and it looks down. It says, "Well done. You found the second pit to jump into." And of course, Wendellorn lets the party know what he found out. So you did meet that person I told you about. You didn't get the fruit from him, though. That was pretty disappointing.
The fruit from him.
Yes, I had asked you to get a fruit
go-
from him.
Should we go find him again, son?
You could try. He'll probably be too suspicious by now, if he hasn't already seen me.
I see. Would he not give us the fruit willingly?
Not if he knew you were with me. No.
I see.
That's why I asked you to be very careful and not mention me. You did a very good job with that, by the way.
Is the fruit crucial or just helpful?
Well, I suppose you could say it would be helpful. You certainly don't need it. It was just one of the few favors I was going to ask of you. Do not worry, there are other favors I can ask of you. One of which I am very certain is still down there, unless he has crawled his way back up in the meantime. Which I doubt. Donkeys are very hard to crawl out of.
Well, I deeply apologize for missing your fruit. But we will certainly get the next one.
We will see. You should jump down there, by the way. I don't know if I made that clear. And then he slithers back into your skull.
Hello? Okay. Well, down we go, I guess. We're looking for someone down there that we do not know yet about. Hopefully don't miss it. Bye. Jumping in.
Ivor jumps into the pit.
Yep.
Lovely. Does anyone follow him?
Scoop up the potato orphan and wade out.
All right, Wendellorn is going to watch and see what happens. He sees nothing more of Ivor. Vesper just makes confused and sputtering sounds while watching him. Slash takes a running dive and swan dives into the pit.
Perfect.
The goblin looks between you all nervously. You're going down there?
What's down there?
Well, we use it as a garbage pit. So a lot of garbage.
Anything dangerous we need to know about?
Nobody goes down there. It's a garbage pit. It's probably a lot of rocks and water. Probably some fish with very big teeth.
Ivor calls up from the pit.
Oh yeah, we should have sent the goblin first. That would have been a good idea.
Ivor then
Next
splashes
time
into the
we find,
water.
we throw him down first. Yep.
Is anyone else going?
Can I scoop the goblin up? Is he small enough?
Yes. He doesn't want to go though. Can you please make me an athletics roll?
Or potato orphan under one arm, goblin under the other.
Perfect.
I love it.
The goblin is utterly petrified. No, you can't. I mean, if you're looking over, I guess then yes. You see him plump under the water, and then he bobs up and you can see him vaguely through the darkness. I mean, Ivor is pretty hard to see even in full light, so, you're lucky you can even perceive him at all.
Does he take a running leap as well, or does he just calmly walk through?
Ivor did look alive, Vesper. And so Wendellorn hops down.
No, wait. Did the water make Ivor alive? Have we found the Fountain of Youth?
Oh no. He looks animated.
Okay.
And
The Fountain of Youth is actually a dream. That's why nobody ever found it.
did you jump down also, Wendellorn? Not Wendellorn. Wormdellorn.
don't know. I want to make sure the goblin comes with us. So if I fail to pick him up, I'm just gonna kind of.
Oh no, you absolutely picked him up. He's stiff with terror, so he was really easy to pick up. You picked him up by one of his arms like a handle.
Okay. Then one under each arm. I'm gonna toss him in and then hop in after.
All right, you all jump down.
We seem to be on your favorite map.
Yes, indeed. Oh yeah, I should probably copy over
this map
tokens.
Is made of map.
There's a cloud.
I hate Roll20.
Same. I'm excited to give Foundry a try with characters built from the ground up in Foundry with this one shot.
I love how if my boundary box goes at all into the UI of the browser, the box stays there, but it doesn't actually select anything.
Wonderful.
That's a good feature.
You all plorp into the water. This is not to scale because I'm a hack. You are in a deep lake. Little glowing fishes with little glittery silver scales swim all around you, making tiny, soundless plorps under the water. They have lots of vestigial eyes. They have little vestigial noses. They have little vestigial feet. And they swim. That is their purpose in life. You are within a cavern. The tiny specks of light in the water do not reflect at all on the ceiling of the cavern. Those of you who can see in the dark, you can see thick, gray, blotchy moss all over the walls of the cavern. The shore lies maybe 50 feet from you. Assuming you can swim in this water. It doesn't hurt you. There are no tentacly squids that try to rip you limb from limb.
I'm glad those are not present.
I could list all the other creatures that are also not present, but that would take a while.
Eva will swim to shore.
Can we see well enough to see where the shore?
I'm curious how Slash does in the water.
That's fair.
Is he
Considering he's an earth
mud.
golem possessed by a ghost.
Yeah, he just completely splattered into silt and fell to the bottom.
Oh no.
He rises possessing one of the tiny fishes.
There we go. Fish Slash.
If we're gonna sacrifice Slash, I would have liked it to be more useful.
I mean, now he's a fish. That's a lot easier to sacrifice.
Okay, is he just gonna stay here in the lake and we plop him out? And
He latches onto the potato orphan's arm and begins sucking the potato orphan's vital fluids to stay alive.
pluck him off.
He dies.
Oh God!
He rises as a ghost. He seems angry. Then he seems calm.
That was a roller coaster.
Let me bring him back one moment. He's back.
Oh hi.
Hi, I don't know what that was all about, but I guess I'm a ghost again.
Well, you can go get your buddy. It's down there somewhere.
No, I think I'm good. You can find me another one later. You're probably just going to sacrifice it anyway.
You can always inhabit this goblin.
The goblin squeaks. Who are you talking to?
Actually, go ahead.
You are, yeah. So there's caves that there is a cavern that you're in. It's kind of a silty gray beach. There are little bioluminescent crabs. They also have vestigial feet with little vestigial toes. on the end of their little legs that are not at all vestigial because they use them to walk. They clatter their little claws. They glow with their little glow spots. And that is the only form of animal life that you see on the beach. There are stones here and there. Whoops. About the size of a Slash's head. And on all of these stones grows the moss that grows on the walls of the cavern. There is cavern wall some distance away. There is there's an entrance or exit, whatever, a passage that was clearly hewn by hand with tools. There are scars of tool mark around the edges of it. There are no footprints in the silt. It's very wet, so that may just be because it recovers its form very quickly. There's the smell of old moisture.
So the entrance
Wonderful.
is squiggly at the bottom or the opening at the top?
The what?
You said there was an entry.
Oh, yeah, it's at ground level.
Is that the squiggly at the bottom of the map or the opening at the top?
Yeah, the squiggly.
Hello, Mr. Bone Serpent. Oh, great one.
Yes,
Are
you
you
called.
there? So you mentioned someone down here you need to... Do you need them killed? Do you need to get in touch with them? What is the...
Oh, yes, I suppose I should have clarified further. Yes, you will find a civilization, a very old one down here. They are mostly harmless. They are professional jailers. I need you to perform an exchange of prisoners. You need to free a friend of mine, get them to commute his sentence. It probably will be an exchange, unless you can just convince them to let him go, but I doubt that. I paid them a lot of money to put him there in the first place, and I have no more of it. So long as you do not threaten them, you should be perfectly safe. They are primarily jailers of the god that we're going to visit.
Perfect. And the person we need to get out of prison, how do we know them?
That's a very good question. You see, the problem is I've forgotten his name and all details as to his identity. And they don't tend to keep any prisoners down here, but a few thousand years is a long time. A lot of things could have happened since then.
So it's possible he may be the only prisoner here?
It is possible.
Are you sure he's even here?
Unless somebody else freed him. I don't know why they would have any reason to.
And who are we exchanging for him?
Probably the goblin. The goblin squeaks. He looks back up the hole. Whether they want him or not is not really a question. They are jailers. They perform the functions asked of them if you provide them with the proper documentation and money. An exchange of prisoners requires very little documentation. It's actually kind of scary. The old world was a strange place.
I see. So you need this person set free, and then we just let him go, or do we need to escort him somewhere, or do you need something else done?
Yes, you can let him go.
Very well.
Is this person dangerous?
Yes, very much so.
Very much.
Dangerous enough that I had these people jail him for what was intended to be an eternity.
Why are we setting him free?
Because I asked you to. Because I have been incredibly helpful and graceful, and this was one of the few things I asked of you. The first of which
Well, hopefully this goes better than that one.
Yes, of course. We will do as you ask. We are just curious and gathering information. That is
Can everyone give me perception rolls, please? Nice.
Well, some of us are paying attention.
Yeah, let me get a slash. Good grief. So Vesper, Lendalorn, and Slash all notice a hiss and a plorp into the water. They saw nothing. Not even Vesper.
See Vesper.
A rainbowy, oily film in a square, two-dimensional shape, like as though a sheet had been released in the water, floats up to the surface.
I'm sorry, what floated up to the surface?
A thing like a sheet, square, maybe a yard by a yard, oily, rainbowy, filmy.
See this, right?
All of you see it after it rises. Maybe not Ivor. Maybe he wasn't paying close enough attention.
Yeah.
Maybe not Worm. If it's pointed out to you, you can see it. Nothing else happens.
Ivor is very busy playing with the staggers. As rogues do.
Yeah. Well, what do the rest of you who are not rogues do?
How can we see in here?
Well, if you have dark vision, you can see as far as your dark vision will let you see in absolute darkness. Otherwise, you probably want to light a light source. And do you light a light source?
I'm trying to see if I have a light source.
It's hard to do in the dark.
Has a light, but they're all wet. Do they still
Unfortunate.
work?
Torches? Probably, if you have hot enough fire. They're probably like pine pitch torches.
Vesper
Probably
should do it.
designed
Vesper
so
likes
if they
it.
get damp, they still work. Unless George is
Like
coming to tell me
sending
about physics when I don't know about physics. When the Lord casts light. There
That
we
works
go.
too. Magic.
Magic.
Can you cast light on a torch so it feels less useless?
That's some strong Gandalf energy right there. The torch, the light illumes. The moss pulses in the light. It seems angry.
Well, that's disturbing.
Ooh.
You hear slurping and plopping sounds like the moss is coming unsuctioned from the surface of the stone and then plopping back into place.
Goblin,
Yes.
you said you throw lots of trash down here, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes, all of it.
I don't see much trash. Do you think the moss eats all of the trash?
I was trying very hard not to think about that. I was trying to tell myself it was the little fishes. Or maybe the trash all just sinks to the bottom.
I mean, it may also be the little fishes. Slash, do you feel hungry for trash? I know you're a fish, so I guess we can't really.
He's not even a fish
communicate,
anymore.
but-
He's a ghost.
Oh, I
While
thought he
you
was
were
still
a fish, did you feel like you had trash in you?
I don't know. I wasn't a fish for more than about 2 seconds.
Well, go be a fish.
Can you try again?
All right. Here we go. He jumps into the water, and a fish raises its tiny little snout above the surface of the water. It makes fish sounds.
Can anyone
both
translate?
twice for yes, but one for no.
It bobs twice.
Okay, so the fish like trash.
It bobs once.
Interesting. Oh, I guess not.
It bobs in
I
confusion.
guess the fish. Can you even
It hurts
understand
itself in
that?
its confusion.
It disappears below the surface of the water.
I am more confused than before. I don't know if that helps.
I don't think it did.
His ghost rises from the corpse of the fish that has now been murdered by him. Says, no, I didn't feel hungry for fish. Or trash. I said the wrong word. I do that a lot.
What do you feel hungry for? What do they eat? I need to know the ecology of this whole.
Blood, I guess.
I see. Interesting.
Speaking
Well,
of...
I am now.
Sorry. Both Vesper and Wendelorn have gone a long time without eating brains, by the way. They're craving a little bit.
Slash, can you go kill several more fish for their brain matter?
I guess they didn't seem to have much in the way of brains. I think that was part of the
It'll
problem.
take a lot. Oh, can you inhabit this moss and ask it if it likes trash?
I would rather not try that. It doesn't look friendly. I could try possessing a whole bunch of fish at once. I feel like that's maybe something I could do.
If you could possess them and then just like splash them all up on the shore so that they can eat their brains, that'd be very helpful.
His ghost turns around and gets really, really tall, really, really wide, and really, really thin. And then it falls and belly flops into the water and sinks below the surface.
It's turned into a net.
A net that deals slashing damage, I guess.
Wow. Did he touch the rainbow sheet on the surface?
He didn't. He actually drove it away with the force of his incorporeality. A few moments later, a bunch of fish come writhing to the edge of the water, hurling themselves onto the silt, gasping with their tiny, tiny little noses, and then dying as Slash disinhabits them, laying waste to an entire population in mere moments. Who knows how fast they reproduce, whether they'll ever come back from this. Does that
May have
answer
just
your
destroyed
ecology
the-
question?
Just destroyed their entire ecosystem.
Probably, yeah. The trash will now build up in a mound until the goblins can jump onto it and safely climb down and invade this place. Probably killing the inhabitants, probably freeing all the prisoners, and letting the god loose to ravage the world.
And we're awful.
Well, the fish are there. You know, their brains don't smell especially tasty, but they smell like food. You kind of have to bite the head off and suck it out. Wendelorn eats some of them. He feels mildly better, in the same way that eating half a breadstick will make you feel better while you're waiting at the restaurant. In that it doesn't at all. It just whets your appetite.
The potato orphan doesn't have a brain, does she?
Potato Orphan had a brain. The Potato Orphan's brain is currently the snake.
What?
Yeah. Do you not remember the snake possessing the body of the Potato Orphan? The Potato Orphan isn't a real living creature. And the potato orphan gave you a fake voice so that you could pretend that it wasn't just being possessed. Vesper gets too excited about food, tries to swallow a fish whole. It goes down easily. It's used to slithering. It's just not alive anymore, so I guess it doesn't at all slither, but you know, it's aquadynamic, hydrodynamic, whatever. Vesper feels like she just ate a Tic Tac. Technically 0 calories per serving, despite being pure sugar.
Well, we definitely helped them a lot. Good job, us.
I don't know who them are, but you know, yes.
Being Vesper and Wendell.
Yes. I think the fish may have gotten off with it better than them. At least the fish will never be hungry again.
Can we walk around the body of water?
You can walk along the edge of the water until you reach the walls of the cavern. So no.
Okay. Oh no. Well, then I'm going to go up here until Ivor and his eyeball can give us some direction.
Do you mean Wendelorn and his eyeball?
An eyeball.
I thought Ivor had the eye.
No, Wendelorn.
Next with Wendell.
It is my scalp. My very bald scalp.
Yes.
What's wrong with your scalp?
So the snake has been just jumping between people. The snake is not explicitly bound to the eye.
Oh, okay.
It was
I
under
thought it
Vesper's
lived in
toenail
your
at one
eye.
point.
Right. This I really am not looking forward to it being my turn.
It's okay. So Wendelorn asks, what do you need me to look at?
Not you, Ivor. Being our de facto leader.
So you don't need the guy without the eye to look at something.
No, I thought that he was living in his the centipede. I thought he was in his eye, but he was not in his eye.
So what is the thing you're trying to get to happen?
I'm just looking to Ivor for the next direction. I assume he knows where we're going.
I mean, I do not. No, I am just following along with whatever the serpent requests of us, because the serpent has promised to give me what I want.
The serpent does not appear.
So I suppose we should go through the opening, yes? We are looking for professional jailers, professional jail keepers.
You go to the tunnel.
An ancient system.
And you pass through a narrow tunnel. Barely wide enough for an Ivor to get through. And Ivor is a little bit of a scrawny boy. The salt dries, becomes dirt, essentially, at this point. Not exactly hard to pack to earth, but like, I don't know, I suppose moderately packed earth. You of course expect that there is a stone underneath it, since this was a passage hewn out. There are no sources of light placed on the walls. There are from time to time bits of the moss. It seems that some kind of a lacquer-ish substance, something viscous and glossy, has been spread across the wall. And you don't know if this is to keep the moss away, or if this is to prettify it, if this is to keep cracks from forming in the walls. But it'll take a bit of doing to get through the passage without touching any of the moss, if you would like to avoid touching the moss. You could, of course, choose to just go through it.
Just rub my face in it.
Yes.
No, I'll attempt to avoid touching the moss.
Can we ask Vesper to burn the moss off the walls?
You absolutely can.
Vesper, do that thing.
Wait, if we send the goblin in first?
Can you not? I can't
Before or
burn
after
moss.
Before or after she sends a fireball down the hall?
After.
It's definitely.
I meant before any of us actually step in.
All right, Vesper, would you like to use some kind of fire magic? All right, which spell would you like to use? Nice. You firebolt one of the bits of moss and incinerate it. I imagine you do it like from the edge of the water. You're just like, yeah, sure, why not? And you just blast it right over Ivor's shoulder into the passage.
That's a damn good aim.
An acrid smell fills the corridor. It's only acrid for a moment. It afterward smells like roasting broccoli, scallops, and asparagus. Can Worm and Ivor please make me Constitution saving throws? You set many things on fire in combat.
Is this a Constitution saving throw against poison or disease?
It is against poison, yes.
Okay.
All right, Ivor, you just kind of turn your head and cough, and that's the worst that it does to you. Worm, you are dazed and begin hallucinating.
Oh, anything fun?
Ivor turns into a goblin. The moss grows faces.
Into a goblin?
Yes.
Or
In Worm's eyes, you turn into a goblin.
I see.
The moss grows the faces of every one of your friends and loved ones here and in Hope and the Potato Orphan. And a guy with a mustache, but you don't recognize him.
Worm, are you okay?
Hope you understand the hypocrisy of you killing the goblins.
What?
That's all. You know what I'm talking about.
I do not. No.
You think about it.
I have thought about it. Yes, I do not know.
You know what you did. May your
Yes, I
God
did.
forgive you.
Yeah, I killed goblins because they were goblins. Anyways, rather pleasant smell. I like these sort of vegetable. I haven't tasted something like this in a long time. I would love to eat some of this if we could cook it.
There is a bit of it charred on the ground that isn't quite turned to ash. If
Does
you
it
blew
look-
it out, you could eat it, I suppose. It's cooked.
Just like a charred face.
To you, it looks like a nose.
Yeah, I'll take a bite of it, sure. Ivor has no reason to believe that this is harmful at all. So.
Can you make me one more saving throw versus poison?
Yep.
Nothing happens. It unfortunately doesn't
Does it
taste
taste
as nice as it smells. It's kind of grainy, kind of pulpy. Doesn't taste like much.
Oh, well, at least the smell is pleasant.
Restore 1d4 HP, please.
Ooh. I am back up to max.
Nice.
Ivor, why are you eating Wonderboy's nose?
You see a cut heal on Ivor's face.
It smelled good. I don't know.
A shining golden crown appears on his forehead. A voice booms from the heavens. Behold my champion.
Am I the only one that sees this?
Yeah. 1 second.
Well, why are you looking at me like this?
Yes. The voice was your voice,
Is
by
this
the way.
something on my face?
Did I just shout out, behold my champion?
Can you give me a wisdom saving throw, please? It was your voice. You did shout, "Behold my champion."
Champion Worm, you're scaring me now. What is wrong?
I'm just gonna drop to one knee. I'm in the presence of greatness, clearly.
Ivor looks behind him.
The goblin seems very terrified that this person who was his advocate more than anyone else has clearly lost his mind. There's no one behind you.
Lead us, champion.
Okay. First, Goblin,
Yes.
you want to lead the way down this hole here?
No, I don't at all want to lead the way. I'm probably going to die if I lead the way. Probably in a much more painful way than you will do if I don't obey you.
Yeah,
I think you're going to have to use the carrot and not just the stick.
I believe the goblin would disrespect the champion like this.
I do have quite a lot of acid. Are you sure about that?
Pick the goblin up.
He's going to try to struggle. Can you please athletics roll for me, please? He somehow manages to evade your grip. He holds up both hands.
No, let's not rush into things here. There must be a very logical and rational way to go about this that does not involve putting one person in the way of whatever danger is down there.
I grab him by the
just
ear and try to pull.
Don't you have a 10-foot pole or something for things like this?
No.
Can't you send
we
the
could
dumb little
just-
golem?
Oh my god.
He points to the
I
potato
mean,
orphan.
I don't think the dumb little. I think the problem is the dumb little goblin. Dumb little golem is dumb, not very good at leading the way.
Aren't you all immortal?
You can take that as a compliment. You are smarter than a potato golem.
No, there's no reason why I should go first when you can come back from the dead. Why?
I'm gonna
Why?
I'm gonna take the bone club and just whack him on the backside with it.
You please make me an attack roll.
Well, Mr. Goblin,
And I
Mrs.
have that-
Goblin, I don't know if we ever established this.
You can just use a regular weapon. Any of the ones that you have, if it uses strength.
Oh, there it is.
You knock him unconscious.
By hitting him.
You missed and you hit him in the back of the head. You're not used to this weapon.
With an 8.
Yeah, he took a little bit of falling damage jumping into the water below
Oh.
because he's so
Well, I'll pick
unimportant to
him
the
up and carry
story.
him to the-
Well, he can't very well lead the way now, but we should probably make sure he lives, I suppose. He would make a very good prisoner exchange otherwise.
Well, I'll pluck him up then, presumably unopposed, and carry him over here.
You carry him over. He doesn't oppose.
Is he bleeding out through his skull, or is he gonna live?
He does not seem to be bleeding.
Okay, just unconscious. Well, I suppose if that plan is out now, then I will go first.
Are you having trouble, Taylor?
I'm having a lot of trouble.
Rip roll 20.
The
I have
potato
no idea how
orphan
this works.
seems firmly attached to the walls.
Why?
Oh my god.
There we go.
Perfect.
All that for no good reason, I suppose. So, Vesper, are you going to come along?
Did you succeed in burning all the moss off the walls?
No, that was just one patch. There's still a half dozen more. So Vesper trudges
Please walk
along.
ahead and clear the moss as we go.
Would you like to use a more powerful fire spell and try to just annihilate it all at once, or would you like to try to individually firebolt the patches? If you do, please make me 3 firebolt rolls. Okay. Your first patch misses and ricochets. It catches onto some of the lacquer or paint or whatever it is on the walls, and a sweet smell comes from the patch as it burns for just a moment before going out. With a few more bursts of fire, you do burn away all the rest of the moss, causing smoke to fill the corridor and a good amount of it to billow out. Can everyone please give me Constitution saving throws versus poison? Crispy indeed.
Crispy.
We maybe should have stepped
A woo,
back
if
a
you
little.
will. Yes, perhaps you should have.
I mean, Ivor still has no idea that this is at all harmful. he just thinks Worm has gone crazy out of nowhere. He even ate it and didn't get affected. So
Yeah, ghosts thankfully can't smell things. So, Wendelorn, you see everyone turn into candles with brains stuck on top of them. You are fairly certain that this is the work of some kind of medicinal hallucinogen rather than magic, especially since, your magic eye doesn't see it any differently. You don't panic very much as a result of knowing pretty much what's going on. Worm, everyone turns into goblins except for the potato orphan, who turns into a crab. You yourself turn into a goblin also. As everyone ends up about their proper height. Their legs are just really long. The rest of their bodies are goblin proportions. The goblin, the actual goblin, it also grows very long legs. And that's all that happens as a result of that. The smoke smells lovely, whether or not you're under its effect or not.
This was all meant to be.
You make your way through the passage, encountering no unburned moss. Can everyone give me perception,
thank
please?
you, Vespa.
Wendelorn, you hear a shuffling and scraping behind you, and you see an earthworm, a very large one, about the size of a human, dart out of sight as you turn and look at it. It was kind of like rearing back like a cobra. And he says, "There's a worm following us." The Worm saw this. He seen what Worm sees is a What does he see? He probably sees a fish, a very large version of the little fishes that are in the pond. But Worm, you do not feel
Didn't get
gigantic.
any smart- But it's gone into the earth now.
Well, you saw it jump out of the way using its tiny legs. The rest of you saw
Keyboard
nothing.
doesn't see anything, so yeah, can't respond here.
Will you continue on, or would you like to investigate the worm?
Does Wendellorn seem concerned? Did it seem hostile?
No.
Well, I'm continuing to follow our fearless and majestic leader.
Wendellorn says it did rear up, but it went away when I looked at it. And Ivor continues on. Champion Ivor. You do have a crown, though.
Now, do all the other goblins have hair and Ivor is still bald, or are all the goblins bald?
Yes. They have whatever hair they had.
Perfect.
And eventually...
The baldest goblin.
Eventually you... Hold on, let me grab my map here. The quote-unquote map. You come to another cavern. This one has also been... hold on.
World dissolves around us.
None of this to scale. You find these little mud huts. Each of them about maybe 6 to 8 feet wide, with little mud roofs. There are a lot of them. They each have a little door of driftwood, it looks like. There's about enough space to squeeze. Goodness, space to squeeze between them. Between each one, if you are sneaky about it. There are no windows or openings aside from the little driftwood doors. Each of them are about 10 feet high. The ceiling of the cavern is about 20 feet high. Moss covers the walls. The floor is free of moss. A single crab clickety-clacks by. Pays you no attention.
This faces moss.
The mosses are faces to you. The walls are covered in faces, if you will, to you.
Vesper, do you think you can take care of this? I don't like the way the walls are looking at me.
Vesper, if you don't have spell slots to spare on a cataclysmically burny spell, you're pretty certain your firebolts are going to do very little to alleviate this without just smoking you all out.
Is Wendell going to say anything about this being a hallucinogen?
So far, those who have been under the effects of it have not spoken up, and Ivor has been unaffected. So,
Vesper, you were just asked to take care of the walls that were looking at Worm. If you understood this to mean burn away all the moss like you were previously asked, the walls are covered in moss in a way that the cavern wall, the passage walls were not. Your firebolt is not going to be up to the task to clear the moss away. In your opinion, seeing as how you're a bit of an expert on your firebolt. Don't you have sorcery points?
Oh, yeah.
As a sorcerer, you have sorcery points. Yeah, use Scorching Ray. And
didn't we just long rest like a session ago? Oh, this was a short rest, wasn't it? Never mind. Sorry. Short rest are 8 hours now. That's right.
Yep.
I'm getting things mixed up.
Have you been using sorcery points, Vesper? I don't know that I've ever heard you say you were. Okay, so you would have all your sorcery points still. One of the main uses of sorcery points is getting spell slots back. But I don't remember the exact mechanics because I have literally never played a sorcerer.
It's a whole table you gotta look up. Probably bring up the sorcerer rules here.
So yeah, can I get a attack roll, please, Mr. Wendelorn? And you scorch. Are you trying to maximize area? Are you firing your beams all in vaguely different areas, trying to get the edges to overlap? What's your end game here? Okay. A billowing blast of smoke rises from the wall. It does not come near you, though. No more rolls for the group from that. It clears a patch of scorched stone behind. Yeah, another 2 would be good, please.
Nice.
Very nice. So, yeah, all 3 hit.
Also, I threw the sorcery point table thing in Discord.
Thank you very much.
So how much did he manage to clear?
About 6 vaguely squiggly feet. That's like square feet, but with squiggles.
Look at him disappointedly.
It was a good run. I don't know why it's a run. It was a good burn. Not a clean burn, but, a good burn. This provokes no reaction from the tiny huts.
We performed so poorly in the presence of our leader. You are a disgrace to the neighborhood.
Can you burn the walls down, Worm?
Well, I can take my torch, which just has light cast on it, and hold it. I don't think it'll do
That
much.
only has light because Wendelorn lit it for you.
With Worm under hallucinogens, though, does it look like it's on fire?
Ooh, that's a really good point. Yeah, I think it does look like it's on fire.
Well,
it also looks like a bone club.
Then I will hold my flaming bone club up to the wall. Burn
The
the hell out of
face-
this moss.
The face bites
Face
the
is-
end of your bone club and starts gnawing on it. The rest of you see the moss slowly begin to spread down the torch and onto Worm's arm. Would you like to stop the face
Eldritch
from eating
Blast
you?
the-
Okay.
Yes, I would like to try to pull away from
All right. First, please give me an Eldritch Blast.
Yes.
You whack-oom away the face. That is just to you, Moss. And Wendelorn, not when W's are hard. Worm, you see your own face burst into splinters and splatters as an eldritch bolt goes through the face and splatters it everywhere. Congratulations, you're free. You didn't burn the faces, though.
Da-na-na-na.
I'd like to take the club then and start beating the rest of the moss.
All right. Well, the moss, the faces. This one is actually the potato orphan's face. It begins to eat your bone club, and it begins to try to make its way down the club to your arm.
This isn't working the way I expected it to.
Would you like to try to help Worm again, Wendelorn? Sorry, Ivor. People have names.
What?
I
What
don't
am I
know.
being asked?
Would you like to try to Eldritch Blast the new face that is eating Worm?
Yes.
All right. Can you please make me another Eldritch Blast?
What?
You blast this one into splatters also. Worm,
Just
what is the end game?
well, it didn't work. I'll kneel before Ivor. Thank you, dear leader. I am unworthy.
I-
You saved me
I
twice.
still do not understand what is going on, but okay.
Bow my head in gratitude.
Well, this would have been convenient to have when I was trying to steal the soul earlier.
Hmm.
Anyways,
You hear the chirp of a cricket crab. It is the one single creature that was in this chamber that you've seen.
hello, Mr. Cricket Crab King. Are you the prisoner we are looking for?
It amiably skitters away slowly.
Or are you the jailer?
It pays no attention.
Are these huts the jail?
The cricket crab, which to you is a tiny little head with no limbs,
Oh.
does not answer.
Do any of these little huts have doorways on them?
Every one of them has a door made of driftwood.
I would like to peek through the door closest to me here.
All right. There's a simple latch on it. It's not locked. You can open it toward you. There is a big old barrel bound with iron inside and a little wooden lid on the barrel. There's a musty smell in here.
Odd. If I just kind of knock on the barrel a little bit, does it sound empty, hollow, or does it sound like it's full of like a liquid? Or
It sounds very full of a liquid.
okay,
You hear a mild kush-lorsh.
Probably no prisoner in here, so we will move on.
and I'll just start going door by door until I
right.
come across something.
You find the exact same thing in every one of these.
Interesting.
Maybe the prisoners are in the barrels.
Maybe the prisoners are fish.
Well,
Maybe the prisoners have
Well.
been liquefied.
Maybe the prisoners have what?
Maybe the prisoners have been liquefied.
What does this word mean?
Made into liquid.
How is this possible?
I don't know.
How do we get them back into not liquid so that we can please the great bone serpent?
Have you seen anyone
The
turn
bone
into
serpent-
liquid by acid before, Ivor? I feel like that might have happened.
That's a good point. I don't know if I'd call that liquefaction so much as just dissolving into the acid.
Understandable.
Did the bone serpent say the prisoner wasn't a fish?
No, he did not say anything about the prisoner other than that the prisoner is here.
Wait, is this another
Great
door
and
back
wide.
here?
It is a passageway
No,
on the
it is.
southeastern
Oh.
side, yes.
It is quite possible that this area has nothing interesting as far as the prisoner goes, but maybe we should crack open at least one of these barrels just to see what's inside. Unless that seems unwise, I am unsure.
You are always wise, great Master Ivor. So I'm going to try to crack open a barrel.
You crack open a barrel and
Well,
use...
not crack it open.
Worm,
Take the lid off.
Worm, are you being sarcastic with me? Is that what this
Never
is? I'm not very good at picking up on sarcasm.
Can you give me an insight
would
roll,
never.
please? And can I get a persuasion,
Please be a
please,
0.
Worm?
When I want it to be low, it's high.
Actually, can you give me persuasion? Yeah. Yeah, Worm seems very earnest.
I do not understand what is happening, but I will not complain.
So you're going to try to open a barrel, Worm?
Because I don't have a crowbar or anything. So I'm not sure what I can use if it's difficult. But yes.
You have a can opener in your bag.
Okay, then
I don't
use
know
that.
what the actual item was, but it seems to you to be a can opener.
The barrel also seemed like a giant.
It does not seem like a giant can. It actually seems just like a giant barrel. Isn't that convenient?
Yeah. Well, I'll give it my best shot.
All right. What item are you trying to use to open the barrel with? That seems to you like a can opener.
What's that?
An item from your bag is not actually a can opener, but it seems to you to be a can opener. So you're trying to use it. What is it?
Oh crap! I do have a crowbar.
It's the crowbar then.
The crowbar. For some reason, I assumed that I did, but I did.
I really like the mental image of somebody taking a crowbar and just like laying it down on top of the barrel and then trying to twist it along the edge.
Surprisingly, it works. You get the top
No,
off.
I wish I had a crowbar. All I have is this can opener. He takes out a crowbar.
I turn back to Vesper.
I'm starting to think that Worm is not okay.
You pop the lid off, and within you see a shiny mound of pale flesh poking out of the top of just 1 second. Thick purple liquid.
Did you go to a random color generator?
I may or may not have.
Purple liquid.
A thick
What does it
purple
smell like?
liquid. It smells like sweat.
Do we recognize any features in this?
No.
So it just looks like flesh.
Yep.
Well, is this just be how they store food down here? Perhaps?
Does this look like food to you?
Or it could be the prisoners being kept. I don't know. It could be preserved in the fluid. It's just flesh, right? I assume they would cook it for meat. I don't know what kind of flesh it is. It just looks like flesh.
Sort of identifying marks on the barrel.
There are not.
Well, interesting that these barrels are all kept inside huts, too.
Get a kind of poke at the contents of the barrel with the can opener.
I mean, the flesh gives a little bit. There seems to be something hard like a bone underneath.
It doesn't react or move or anything.
It does not.
Is it cold?
You're poking it with a can opener and or a crowbar. Would you like to put your finger in it?
I'd like to touch it gingerly and see if it is room temperature or body temperature.
Can you give me a medicine check, please? You've been dead a long time. Those two things are more or less the same to you.
True.
It feels like body temperature.
Great Master Evil, I think this is alive.
That is disturbing.
Slowly, reality begins to fade.
Is this what...
For Worm, things start to warp and twist back into their normal shapes. For Wendelorn, things remain the same. You are holding a crowbar now.
It's convenient.
Is this the liquefaction you mentioned?
Possibly.
Interesting. How do we make it not liquid?
We could try removing it from the barrel, but if these are prisoners, I'm not sure we want them freed.
Where are... Well, I do not think they are prisoners, because if they are prisoners, where are the wardens? Those they could be. Maybe the wardens are the fish. Maybe the wardens are the moss.
Maybe you're the wardens.
If your prisoners are liquid in barrels, maybe they don't need a lot of watching. So Ivor just looks like normal Ivor to me now.
He does. He has no crown.
It's just stupid questions.
Hmm.
I'm not sure what I ever saw in him.
I think Worm's okay now.
I'm just glad the walls aren't watching me anymore.
The walls were what?
The faces on the walls. Do you pay attention to anything?
What I didn't... I saw no faces on the wall, no. So possibly I missed them.
You need to pay attention.
I guess so.
Am I still carrying the goblin?
Unless you dropped him somewhere.
No. Okay.
You just kind of drag him behind you as he went to beat on the wall. Like a caveman dragging a zebra.
I suppose so. Poor guy. I feel kind of bad for him.
I feel really bad for him. It's really my fault that all this happened to him.
Well, I am not sure if it is wise to get the contents of these barrels out, but we should return here if we do not find anything more significant up ahead.
Yeah, secure the lid back in place.
With a clunk, you put the lid back in place.
Actually, I'd like to ask Wendelorn if he's ever heard of anything that can do this to a person.
Wendalorn, can you please give me an Arcana roll?
Seems like if anybody would know that sort of thing, it would be him.
Indeed. Right. Wendalorn, you do remember a spell from when you visited the witches a long time ago in the hideout of the Knolls. There was a spell that turns children into grape jelly, a perfect consistency for spreading on scones. You thought it was a nasty spell. Though this is a purple viscous liquid, it doesn't seem much like grape jelly to you. But you know that it's a possibility.
Do you know anything about turning them back from jelly?
This was... Sorry. This was not a part of the spell book, Wendalorn. You think with a lot of time spent researching, perhaps you could reverse engineer it, but that's not exactly something you have here, let alone all the equipment you think you would need.
Check and make sure that every hut contained the same thing.
And, let me, just one moment here.
I couldn't remember if we had investigated all of them or not.
The ones with the X's have no patch of flesh. They are just the liquid.
Yep.
The liquid is at a lower level.
They're all the same colors.
Uh-huh.
Lovely. Well, then we should continue on.
Are there objections to that?
Nope.
All right. We're going to end there. We are down 2 people. Hopefully by next week, Aiden's laptop is, well, not by next week, by 2 weeks from now, when we meet again, hopefully Aiden's laptop will be fixed. So
We're going to have a hard time explaining all of this.
not much more than usual, I don't think. The hardest part is probably going to be explaining how he took it upon himself to possess all the fish.
Why he's a ghost now.
Yeah, that happens a lot, though. And Chris is back just in time for us to close. I'm sorry. Thank you all for playing.